Alright, y'all. Sorry about that. Been a while, so I've kind of forgotten how to do this. Kind of. I can still, I can still do some of it. I, we still have not really gotten back in the hang of things. Still trying to get, Sarah's still redoing her house, and it's summertime. But anyway, I've been trying to put something together. I was going through my Facebook memories and this week, and last year I typed it out on my personal page, but I thought I would just. I've been thinking about it a lot anyway. I'm going to the beach next week, and some of you probably heard a little bit of this, but and then if you're friends with me on Facebook, uh, you probably read it last year. But I was just going to give y'all one of my testimonies. Uh, I, it's 11 years now, probably 2 or 3 days ago, 11 years ago. So I had it wrote out, so I'm gonna read it to y'all, and maybe I might say a little bit more. But uh, we were on family vacation. We were with Matt's side of the family. It was his mom, his dad, his older sister, her husband, and all of their kids. Me, Matt, and all of my kids. And then I don't think his younger sister was there, but we had her 3 older kids were with us. Anyway, beach vacation, everybody loves a good beach vacation. But that is, I've got testimonies. Y'all probably heard some of them. But this one was where I personally experienced the saving grace of my life. Like the Lord saved my life. And I've never forgotten it. And I don't imagine I ever will. Like I said, every year that we talk about going to the beach, this comes back up. I think about it. But it had kind of been storming one day, and the waves were pretty rough out there, and we were all out there jumping in them, just having a grand old hillbilly time out in the waves. Uh, anyway, I got caught in a riptide, and I remember right before it happened, my brother-in-law, he told me, he was like, "You better not get out there too far," because it was rough. That's what was making it fun, was the waves being so rough. And he was like, "Don't get out there too far." And I was like, I'm not. I'm fixing to come in anyway. And I had already told Matt I had been jumping with him, and he's taller than I am. I told him, I said, "I don't really like it when I can't touch the ground." And so he had let go of me, and I was in the process of trying to get back to where I could touch really good. And I got caught in the riptide, and I was not strong enough. I've always prided myself on being what I would consider decently strong, and I was not strong enough to fight these waves. And I think like they were. I can't really explain this if you've never really, if you just don't know what I'm talking about. But waves were literally coming in from every direction. Like, I mean, it was back, front. Uh, I remember I had goggles on because I wear contacts when I go to the beach, and uh, I had goggles on to keep the salt water out of my eyes anyway, and they were kind of shaded, and we were kind of using them as sunglasses. Me and my sister-in-law both had a pair of them. But Matt realized that I was not strong enough to get back, and we had been teasing my sister-in-law. She talked about riptides all week, and this was our next to the last day there. But and all week she talked about them, and we would just, they have stuff in our room there, the place that we were staying, our condo, and it talks about if you get caught, swim parallel, and until you reach so and so, and you should be okay. Well, that's not as easy as we made it sound like to her. But anyway, Matt realized that I was in trouble, and so he would swim out to get me. He was strong enough, but he wasn't strong enough to haul me and him both back in to where I could touch. And he would have to let go of me. I would get farther out. He would swim back to me, but he wasn't strong enough to pull us both in. Uh, and I remember, like I distinctly remember having the thought that he was not going to leave me out there. That he just wasn't. I was his wife, and he wasn't. And I remember thinking in my head, because I honestly, I thought I was going to drown. I thought this is when I meet Jesus. Uh, I can laugh about it now, but at that time, I promise you, I was not. It was a very serious thought in my head that that's where I was going to die. And I remember thinking that all three of my girls were on the beach watching this. I realize now they weren't, but at the time I thought they were, because my sister-in-law had just took off and took make sure Montana and Grace, who were just little bitty. Uh, they were like 7 or 8 maybe. I don't remember, but they were young, and she had went back to get them when she realized that it was starting to get rougher, to make sure that they stayed up on the beach instead of out in the water. And so she had, but in my head, all three of my girls were on the beach watching me get farther and farther away, and I thought they're going to watch their mom and dad drown because Matt wouldn't leave me. Like he wasn't going to leave me. And so I was like, he's fixing to get in trouble. And, that's, they were just going to lose both their parents because their dad wouldn't leave their mom out there, which, now I'm thankful for. But at the time, when I think this is the end, this is my thoughts. And I remember him, like I remember trying to swim parallel to the beach because, that's what people said to do. That's what we've been teasing my sister-in-law about doing. And I could not do it. I could not fight the waves. They were so strong that like I was getting more tired just trying to keep my head above than I was to even try to. And I remember I'm thinking I'm swimming parallel, but I wasn't. I don't know that I was going anywhere except for farther out to sea is what it seems like. And my sister-in-law, when she realized we were in trouble, she all day we had seen 4-wheelers with lifeguards driving up and down. My brother-in-law had went back to the beach because all week we had been telling the kids, if you bring it, he was going to get me a surfboard, boogie board, knee board, whatever they're called. He was going to get me one of them. And all week we'd been telling the kids, if you bring it over here, you take it back. All week the parents were taking it back. And cause he went to get one off the beach, and that was the one day that they all took their stuff back with them to the condo. And my sister-in-law was trying to find a lifeguard, anybody to call 911. she was running up to another condo that was closer than ours, and was trying. And theirs was gated off, and she was trying to get anybody that could hear her to let her in so they could call 911. But she said that when she got up there and she turned, she said it looked like we were miles out in the ocean. She said that she even lost sight of me a few times, and so she knew she was getting scared and nervous. My brother-in-law had done got scared. He never gets scared or nervous. He had done kind of got a little. He knew it was getting rough, uh, and I can remember watching the giant big Coast Guard helicopter fly over. Uh, of course, they never stopped. They never hovered over us. They just kept on going, even though we were, going crazy, hollering and waving arms and, yelling for them. Not that they could have heard us, but, and I can remember, like I said, Matt, I remember him getting a leg cramp. Because like I said, he would swim out to me and try to pull me in and realize he couldn't. He would have to let go and swim back so he could touch to get his breath, and he would try to come back. And I remember when he got that leg cramp, I remember hearing him holler, "I've got a leg cramp." And he yelled, what I remember the most about this was us praying, but I remember him screaming out just like at the moment after he got his leg cramp, he screamed out and he said, "God save us. God help us." And I remember it felt like it was almost instantaneously that we reached the sandbar. Like where we were at, that just happened. We reached that sandbar that allowed us to walk on into the beach. And in my case, we were running as fast as I guess you can run in the water, which is not fast. And, with heavy waves like it was, but just getting out of it as fast as we could. When we got back to the beach, I tell people this, you see videos of people that are, they get caught and they get all the water and they call out and they're just throwing up water. Well, that's true. That's exactly what happened. I was on my hands and knees and I was throwing up the salt water that I had taken in and just, trying to get it out of my lungs. And I'm sure that it happened way faster than the hours that it felt like I was out there. But I thank God every day for hearing that cry and showing favor on us. We found out later that evening that there was a lady just down the beach, not far at all, maybe just a few miles really, and she was not so lucky. She got caught in it also. So it was, it was just a terrible ordeal. And I have been back to the beach. I am a little bit more leery and scared of it. I mean, and I love it. I can go and sit on the beach for 7 days straight and be just fine. And probably what I'll do next week, I will get out in it a little bit. The last time I went, I've been back 2 or 3 times since then. The last time I went, I think I finally made it up to about mid-thigh. I still don't like it. I still don't like, I love to go swimming in a pool, the creek. I still don't like to keep my head under the water. And that's, I'll catch myself if I'm under the water too long when I come up gasping like I can't. And that, like I said, that's been 11 years ago. But, I just, it's always a reminder that of God's love for me and you, for anyone, and just his saving grace, the mercy that he showed on me and my husband. And it really just kind of just sometimes you just have to cry out to him. And that was one of those times that we were crying out and he heard our cries. And even though it was a very scary time, I'm thankful for it. But I also I think that some people would, and like I said, I do kind of fear it a little bit, but not so much that it has kept me from going back. I still, if anybody's been in the ocean, you 100% knows that the Lord has been great. But there's a picture. I'm gonna try to find it on my. This picture. It reminds me so much of when Peter cried out for the Lord to save him. When he was walking on the water, and this picture kind of reminds me of that, but it reminds me of what the Lord done for me. I don't know if y'all can see that picture very good. Let me see if I can. But anyway, every time I see that picture, I think about that and how it was. I feel like that was me, and he just reached down and grabbed me. Anyway, if you made it this far, I thank you for listening to me, to listen to one of my testimonies. I just, like I said, going to the beach next week. Been on my mind. It was just 11 years ago, just a few days, 11 and 2 days ago, I think. I think it was the 13th. It might have been the 12th, but it was one of those. So, real stuff, but thankfully the Lord saw fit to keep us here, and we get to enjoy life a little bit longer with grandbabies now. So, but anyway, I love y'all, and I'm glad to get back on here. And I don't know how often we'll do it throughout the summer. I think that makes it a little bit harder, but I really am looking forward to getting back into this. I like doing this, and I miss sharing with y'all, and I miss being on here with Sarah and Montana. But again, I love y'all. Y'all just remember to pray for me and my family. We're going with my family this time. Just pray for us while we're at the beach and for traveling mercies, and we'll talk to y'all later.